Okay, so I think it's 7:37, so I think we should start and respect everybody's time. So for everybody that joined us, and if you don't know me already, my name is Hildy Dillon and I chair the Environmental Commission here in Teaneck. I really want to thank the township and Michael Surmer-Beckin, who is our superintendent of our Department of Public Works, and Addison Evans, who's here from Neighborhood Compost. We've all worked together to offer this pilot compost program. We had 75 people sign up for the pilot in less than 24 hours, and we have almost 50 people on the waiting list. So we have great interest in the town for this program, which is great. So how we really want to give you an opportunity to ask questions, but we'll start the evening. Addison will explain how we're going to manage the program. I will tell you that you're going to be able to pick up your compost bins that you will take home that have a sealable lid and biodegradable liners. On April 27th at 11 o'clock in the morning, that's a Sunday, we will be in the parking lot that is across Palisade Avenue from the Rada Center. And that is where the receptacles or the totes will be for you to put your organic waste in when you're ready to bring it over there. And they will be locked, and each of you have a combination for that lock. So I'm going to let Addison talk about the program, and then Mike may have a couple of words from the DPW because we want to make sure that people are not using these receptacles for anything else but their organic waste to be composted. And we'll take it from there. So Addie, welcome. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hildy. Thanks so much to everybody at the Environmental Commission. Thanks so much to everybody at the Borough of Teaneck. And thank you so much to everybody who's signed up for the program thus far. Yeah, it was definitely the most amount of signups we've experienced in the least amount of time. So everybody in Teaneck really rocks for that. We're really excited to host this municipal compost drop-off location for everybody here at Teaneck. If you guys have any questions at all, I just want to start. I'll put Neighborhood Compost main email in the chat. If you ever have any questions about what can be composted, what can't be composted, please don't hesitate to reach out. Me and my team, we're small but mighty, and we are really there's a person on the email most all the time. So we're happy to answer any questions you may have. I've also included our compost guide in the chat. It's the PNG file is called Compost Guide 2025. This is just a reference that you guys can use in all the materials that we accept as micro haulers and processors. So now I'll talk a little bit about Neighborhood Compost. Neighborhood Compost, I started this company in 2020. Over the past 5 years, we've diverted over 500,000 pounds of waste from landfill here in New Jersey, thanks to municipal programs rather like yours. Also, thanks to our residential customers and commercial customers. We transport the food scraps and other organic matter out to my family farm. We have a 6-acre farm in northwestern New Jersey, right off Route 80. Unfortunately, it's past the sinkholes, so we're experiencing a lot of traffic at the moment. But we bring the material out to the farm where we process it by composting by way of livestock. And what I mean by that is we feed your food scraps to goats, sheep, alpacas, chickens, goats, turkeys, ducks, and soon I'm very happy to announce that we're going to have pigs, which, they're the ultimate composters. So from a farming perspective, we're really excited we practice regenerative agriculture in which we use, our livestock as our employees and colleagues, if you will, as much as possible in order to farm in a way that is regenerative and natural, and we try to use as little machinery as possible. all in an effort to conserve and protect our planet and our communities. So, not only, by you guys participating in the drop-off location, you'll be supporting local agriculture. We keep your food scraps hyper local here in New Jersey. Um, but yeah, you're quite literally, we're going to be recycling your food scraps, composting them into nutrient-dense finished compost that, for those who don't know, I'm happy to answer any questions about like the intricacies of compost itself. But for those that don't know, your food scraps are a valuable resource that, if given the ideal environment, can decompose into a nutrient-dense soil amendment, in which we call finished compost or humus, is a more scientific term. And then that finished compost we can use in order to cultivate crops organically. And when I say organically, I mean without any sprays or herbicides or pesticides. It's like giving your plants a super boost of vitamins, helping boost immune systems of the plants in order to defend against disease and pests. And so it's a completely natural cycle, a way of growing things. Also, for those that don't know, when your food scraps are sent to landfill, they contribute massively to the effects of the climate crisis and climate change. When organic material is sent to landfill, it is not given that proper ideal environment in order to decompose. Therefore, because it doesn't have access to oxygen or proper moisture levels, it releases methane, which is a really powerful greenhouse gas, which contributes directly to global warming. So, one thing that we can do as a really local behavior as residents here in Teaneck is by composting that material. It's the food scraps we're producing in our kitchen every day. It's the newspaper, it's the matte pizza boxes that have oil stains on them. All of these things can go into these totes, which, as Hildy explained, are located at the Rada Center. As of April 27th, we're going to be having a little bit of a launch day, a launch party there. You guys can all come pick up your compost starter kits, which are 5-gallon buckets with an airtight seal lid, as Hildy mentioned as well. We do have a few BPI certified bio bags for you guys to take. They are the compostable bags that we approve in our system. We've had our compost tested by way of Rutgers. I have also gone to Rutgers and gotten my certificate as a compost operator. So we have all that. We're on the members of the New Jersey Composting Council. So we really do our due diligence in ensuring that your food scraps get returned to the earth effectively and safely. And just to briefly continue on that process, after our livestock eat whatever food scraps you guys are producing, their manure, along with other residual food scraps, are composted in a thermophilic windrow, which imagine is just like the size of a school bus. It's a big, long, oval compost pile, which we layer with materials of like carbon-rich wood chips, with your food scraps, with wood chips, like a big old lasagna. And then the process is quite fascinating, where internally the temperature of the compost windrow heats up naturally. So within 24 hours, we see temperatures of 140 to 160 degrees Fahrenheit. We keep monitoring for temperature and aeration, and to be fair, it looks like just a big old pile of dirt, smells like nothing, because it has all that carbon-rich material, nitrogen-rich material in order to decompose, and those billions of microbes start breaking down your food scraps really quickly. It's a really fascinating process. And then we aerate it, and that's where our pigs will come in too, because they love to root around in compost piles and aerate them. But in the meanwhile, we use our tractor to aerate it, incorporating oxygen regularly to keep those temperatures high so that material keeps breaking down until you have the final product, which is like almost like fine coffee grounds. It's really beautiful stuff. It looks like really dark, rich soil, but it's finished compost and it's loaded with billions of nutrients and microbes that are healthy for our soil that then contribute to really healthy crops. That's our story.
It's, it's fascinating. Thank you. Thank you. So we have quite a few questions, okay?
Yes.
And if people want to ask a question, if you could do that in the box on your screen that says Q&A rather than the chat, and then people can see your questions. So the first question is, what about compostable utensils and plates?
Yes, we do accept them. We do ask that they are BPI certified. We are on the board of this company called BPI. Essentially, they're a third party that puts these, look, so many companies are in this space of green tech and compostable ware, and there's a lot of greenwashing out there, which means that they can say something, this compostable plate is compostable, which means there's compostable material in it, but what they're not telling you is that half of it is plastic, and that plastic is not compostable. And it's really detrimental to our soil systems, also to our livestock. So that's why, there's this company called BPI. They have a certification system. They put these companies through rigorous testing in order to test for the decomposition capability and degradation capability of a product.
And
And
are those marked appropriately when you buy
yes.
those products? Okay,
Yes, and like there's a wide array of products that have this logo. They have this certification. They're not difficult to find. If you guys have any questions about whether something is truly compostable or not, I'd ask you please to email us info@neighborhoodcompost.com. We will answer you very quickly. But for sure, if you see the logo BPI certified, I'll write that in the it's on our compost guide as well. The BPI certified logo, you can compost that for sure. We do sell bio bags, which are the rolls of the bags, they're liners that you can put inside your bucket. Mind you, they are made to decompose. So if you put a lot of water or liquid in there or something, it is bound to break down. So just keep that in mind, use them. You won't use them as infrequently as you would use a durable plastic bag. But those are BPI certified. We do sell those in our circular home shop, which is located in our customer portal, which everybody has access to. I'll put that URL also in the chat. But yes, we do accept compostable ware, BPI certified. There's a few other certification companies out there that we do accept. They're kind of few and far between, but we do a lot of research. So honestly, if there's something that you see that you want to potentially use, send us a link. We'll do our due diligence and let you know whether we can accept it or not.
great, great. And before we close, we can bring up the list of compostables, but I want to get through some of these other questions first. So do we have to keep organic, and this is from Sandy, do we have to keep organic and non-organic produce separate? And can we bring compost already started on the first day?
Love that question. Yes, we get it a lot. Yes to all of the things. As long as the compost that you have already started is free from any contamination. Okay, this is our number one problem we experience is contamination. You guys have to remove every single plastic produce sticker that is on every apple peel, every orange peel, every banana peel. They're made from plastic. They will pollute our soil and they could potentially harm our livestock. So, look, we're a small business. We literally tip your food scraps on our farm and we go through them by hand. So you can imagine it's not the loveliest experience to be removing every single sticker. So we ask that everybody do, their own due diligence before you put your scraps in the bucket. Please remove the plastic stickers because if not, we're doing it on the farm and your scraps at that point are just not delightful. But yes, so finished compost we can accept. And when we say organic material, we don't mean organic as in you go to the grocery store and you just buy an organic cucumber or an organic tomato or pepper. We mean organic as it came from the earth. If it came from the earth, it can go back to the earth. So whether it's conventionally grown or whether it's organically grown, cultivated, we do accept all of those materials. So again, if it's natural, if it came from the earth, including meat, bones, dairy, and food-based oil, canola, olive oil, grapeseed oil, any cooking oil, any leftovers, any plate waste, it can all go in your compost bin. We do accept all of that. And then we do accept some, cardboard material as long as it is matte, as long as it is not shiny. If it is a receipt, absolutely not. We do not accept that. It is loaded with chemicals. If it's a shiny piece of cardboard, it has a ton of chemicals on it. So just think, look, if it's natural, if it's uncoated, if it's chemical free, we accept it. If you have any questions, email us because we'll be there to help you out.
Right. So, thank you for that answer. And I would also urge everybody, um, as Addie said, if you have a question about something, ask first. And, we will get back to you quickly. Addie's team will get back to you. Someone on the team will, that what you're considering putting in is or is not acceptable. And Addie and and her team will also give us feedback and let us know if there are things that people are putting in the waste buckets that should not be in there. And so they're gonna give us that feedback. So we will let you know if there are things going in that shouldn't be in there so that you can, these are all habits. They're habits. Like I have my routine now of removing those little stickers, when I start using a piece of fruit or or a vegetable. Um, because we also have compost in our backyard, but we're gonna move to this program. Okay, next question is, can residents receive compost-rich soil for our gardens? That question is from Crystal.
Yes, definitely. So we will be returning. I think the plan is to start with 2 or 3 64-gallon totes. Is that correct, Hildy?
Yeah,
In which all of the participants can bring your food scraps to. So therefore, we give back every year 2 to 3 cubic yards of material, in which with each of the municipalities that we partner with, we bring them to either just whether it's an Earth Day celebration or something like that. I mean, to be fair, Hildy, I don't know, have we discussed this? I mean, we can bring it to the April 27th um launch because we do have that much compost available.
bring some.
We can
Okay,
bring some, and then essentially it could be a scoop and carry situation. That's what we usually do where, folks can bring a container or a bucket or even a box or bag or anything from home, scoop it, and then fill it with as much compost as they would like, and then bring it home. And
okay,
then, it's super powerful stuff, so little goes a long way.
okay,
I don't think we've spoken about it. Usually we do that a few months into starting the program, but because it is spring and it is an ideal time for spreading
right,
compost, it is
right.
something we can arrange for the 27th.
Okay, we'll talk about that. But as a follow-on to this question, the Teaneck composting program starting at the end of April, how long would it take for us to actually have from what's been collected in the township for it to be ready, as compost? Because I know you've told me it takes several months till
It
it's ready.
does.
Yeah.
It would be until the fall, probably late September, early October, until Teaneck participants would actually be seeing their banana peel, but
Yeah.
nutrient-dense
Okay.
compost.
Yeah. And that's
Uh,
a good time to be planting your bulbs for the following spring. So,
Absolutely. Yeah, they say, look, applying compost in the spring and the fall is the best 2 times out of the year. So whether we give some finished compost back on the 27th, we'll let everybody know, or in the fall, either is fine with us. But either way, you guys will get finished compost.
okay. Um, Lamonda asks, anything that says compostable on a package makes it easy and takes the guesswork out. Is there active legislation to encourage vendors, packagers to mark compostable? Just curious.
I love that question. And how much time do we have?
Right.
I'll try to keep it as brief as possible. Look, kind of what I touched on earlier is there is a lot of greenwashing in this space. Um, Folks can say, hey, I made this bamboo fork with compostable material, but again, they might not be telling you that 15% of that fork is made with plastic as well for durability. It doesn't happen a lot, or I mean, look, I don't even, that's unfair to say. It does happen. And the point is when it does end up polluting our soil. I mean, these companies are businesses. They do want their to market and sell their product. They also want to keep their price point really low. So, I mean, again, that's why we look for that certification of BPI certified.
Right.
Um, and there is a lot of legislation to answer your question. If you guys want to check out BPI, go online. They have I mean, I'm on the board of this company and they have there's a whole panel to talk about just the legislation because each state has different legislations and also because composting is newish to as far as like states are concerned. Um, Everybody in each state has their different laws and regulations around composting organics and what they can accept, what they can't accept, what's in compliance and what's out of compliance. So it really is a broad topic, and I would definitely suggest you to just start researching because there's a lot. There's a lot there. But again, that's why we look for the BPI certified logo. And we like to stay kind of in tune with what with their testing methods. And also we test our compost and our soil every year too. So we as neighborhood compost try to be as, we're as transparent as possible. But we can't always say the same for these companies because we don't know. So I love that you asked that question and please let me know what you find out.
Okay. So, and another question from Lamonda. She wasn't ready for the bio bag to break down. As a newbie, I took out my small bag to carry it to the big gallon bucket and everything fell out. And that's happened to me as well. You mentioned that in the beginning, Addie, that they will, if there's a lot of moisture in there, those bio bags will break down. So you need to fill them, discard them, because if they just sit around, I mean, they're meant to they're meant to break down. So
Yeah.
it can get messy if you don't take them over to the receptacles that we'll have ready for you. You should put that into your routine of how often you're going to go over there, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. And I mean, look, we're as we do the best that we can, right? We are avoiding
Right. Well, she can.
plastics.
She also asked, should we double bag? I don't think
You
that's
can, I mean, so here's a good tip that I love to do, and of course it depends on your freezer space availability. But when I compost anything that is extra liquidy or especially any animal products, I mean, I'm a vegetarian myself, but like any type of dairy ever, I compost it. I'll put it in a smaller, we offer these 2-gallon bio bags and a countertop composting caddy. That's just what I use and I line it with the 2-gallon bags. I put all my daily organic waste in there and I tie it up at the end of the day and I pop it into the freezer. So then, I mean, me personally, whenever I go to the farm, I'll just take the frozen bags out of the freezer. Therefore, I don't really have to worry about a mess. I'll either put them in a cardboard box or a bucket or some sort of container that I have at home. So if you have any freezer space available to you, I would recommend you do that because then obviously things will stay solid and then you can put whatever frozen bags you have in your bucket the morning or day that you end up going to the drop-off location. That way it makes for an easier cleanup as well.
okay. That's great. This is a good question from Julia. What about super processed food like sour candy, for example? Can you compost things like that?
Yeah, you can. Look, there's no escaping it. It's out there. I mean, if we say if it's edible, it can be composted.
Okay,
Um, we do our best, you know.
okay, okay. And some of these other questions that I see in here are really more for the township. One of the questions, from Pat, is there an alternative time to pick up the buckets? So, Pat, that's a really good question. There will be people that won't be able to make it on April 27th. Addie is going to bring, and we have 75 people that have opted in for the program. We're gonna bring buckets for everybody, and Michael and I will talk about where we'll store the buckets for other people to pick up at another time. Michael, unless you already have a plan for that.
So I also would need a list.
Yeah,
So, I mean,
we
if
have
it's all
five,
75 people, which I don't expect to be, if it's
yeah,
a large number, it can get a little chaotic. Um,
right,
you
right.
know, and
I'll
then,
have a list for you. I'll have a list for you.
you know, the
Yeah,
more we can get, the better. A few, because once somebody sees us, someone going into the DPW, walking out with a bucket,
they
you
want
know,
the bucket.
they want the bucket. Doesn't matter what it's for.
Yeah,
So yeah, we can figure that out, and then throughout the year, we can figure out the like the compost drop off, pick up.
right,
It should be same day, right? Because then they participated. Can I have it? Can we have it? So on and so forth. But I think, as Addie said, like we'll get to that. I think, as the time goes on, we'll have more particulars.
right. Okay, okay. And then, this is also for the township, that at the end of the pilot is the goal to set up a paid delivery model or continue with a central drop off. Well, that's why we're doing a pilot, is to see how this goes. And then our township manager, Jacqueline Hashmit, who could not be on with us this evening, she apologized for that. This is why we're doing the pilot, to learn how it's working. If people are actually using it, and how much are we generating? How much compost are we generating? And if we're not having any problems of people putting either the wrong things into the receptacles, we probably will keep it as a centralized location. Addie's company does have the option separately from this company. I mean, from our program in Teaneck, that if you wanted to, there is a fee to get household pickup, right, Addison? That's another option for people privately to work with neighborhood compost. Some residents in Teaneck already do that. But right now we're thinking of keeping it centralized, but this is why we're doing the pilot program. We're going to learn a lot and see how that works out. I think, let's see. Jesse from Teaneck, who is a big advocate for backyard chickens. Jesse wanted to know, you said no. He wants to know about chicken poop. Can chicken poop go in, in the, and actually my neighbors now have hens, which are fascinating. And, they asked me the same question, so.
Look, I love that. I mean, it is probably one of the most incredible nitrogen additives to compost. I mean, we ourselves, we've got dozens of chickens. Yeah, the chicken poop and also their bedding as well, along with rabbit poop and their bedding can go in. If it does get to be too much, though, because we are preserving space for 75 participating households, we'll let you know. I mean, for me, it's fine. I would leave it up to Teaneck to decide on the quantity because we do have a reserved amount of totes that we're using. However, I can't imagine you have many chickens. So for me, it's okay. I would leave the final answer up to Hildy and the commission and Teaneck though as well.
Okay. Um, and is there a specific day for drop off of scraps? And the answer to that question is no. You can come and drop off your scraps 7 days a week. You'll have access to the totes. You should have in the email that you got that you are one of the 75 people in the pilot program. We gave you the combination, and we will, after this phone call, we'll resend some of that information before April 27th, which is our start date. Those totes are not there right now, so you can't start now. April 27th is when we'll start, but whenever it's convenient for you, actually, to drop it off. So.
Hey, Hildy, can I back up a second to Jesse's about the chicken poop?
Sure.
Okay, thanks. I just want to be extra clear. The chicken and rabbit poop is fine. We do not accept, however, cat or dog poop or human poop. Okay, no cat, dog, or human poop. Okay, chicken and rabbit's fine. Just
Okay.
want to. It's been done before, so I just want to clarify.
Can't empty the baby diapers into the compost, right?
Definitely not. Please do not. I do
Right.
not want to see it. Nope.
Okay, I think we may have answered everything. Do you want to bring up, can you share your screen, or you want me to share my screen with the list of compostables?
I can share my screen. I also do see, I just I saw another question. Will we also receive the smaller kitchen counter bucket?
Oh,
Um,
I missed that.
if I could plug our shop, that you can order it in the shop. It's less than you would find it on Amazon, and you'd be supporting a small business. It's called the Bamboozle Countertop Composting Caddy. We do sell those, and I believe
It will not be offered by the township through.
no.
Right.
The township is supplying the 5-gallon neighborhood compost buckets. They're the larger 5-gallon ones. They can hold up to like 45 pounds worth of material. I highly do not recommend putting in that much material, but it does have an airtight seal lid. But the cute countertop composters, you can get in our shop, and I included that URL in our chat as well. Hildy, so is now a good time to share the
Yeah,
compost?
I think so. I don't see any other questions. Let's see.
Okay. I will pull it up.
And I don't see any raised hands, so.
How you doing over there, Michael? You got questions?
Yeah, I do. I have a handful.
Okay.
Question. So in the beginning, while all this is kicking off, especially, it'll be a big burst, right? So as we all know, when anything comes in, so let's say 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, both totes get filled up. Do you guys check a few times a week? Do you need, if someone finds out, like in Hildy's, in 12 hours, they're all filled, do you want to be notified?
That would be great. If you want to, obviously we're there. I mean, the good thing is we've got our fleet of vehicles on the road Monday through Friday. And Teaneck is I mean, as you know, we service 9 other municipalities now, or 8 other municipalities in Bergen County. So we're there throughout the week. So you can let us know. From our experience, we haven't had that yet. I mean, it would be wonderful if they are just filled very quickly, but yeah, you can let us know, but we'll be there. We won't let it overflow. Don't worry.
Okay. And then this was in the rules, but issues with consistent unacceptable material. Well, that's going to be, listen, you get a warning after that program will be shut down, unfortunately, if it's unacceptable. But the other one too is when we get to the gray area, like too much brown material. Like
No.
You know what I mean? No?
No, that's fine. That's fine. Honestly, I mean, look, like I mentioned earlier, over the past 5 years, we've composted over 500,000 pounds of material. So, we're accepting in proportion to the other municipalities, commercial clients, residential, private clients that we service. If you guys give us too many pizza boxes, we'll be okay with that. As long as they're contamination free, right? So as long as, we do not accept, the parchment paper is not compostable. That's on our guide. Stickers are not compostable, but if it's like the pizza box itself, and if it's matte and if it has oil all over it, that's fine.
Gotcha. And then and then again, well, I'll just share with everybody that's in, and if you could share it along. And remember, it's a group of around 75 people.
Yep.
The worst part would be, it's like, I'm here for my first drop off. you know, day 2, day 3, and it's full. You know, so I mean, it'll be a work in progress, but that leads to what happens if and when a bucket is damaged and someone needs another bucket. You know, do they hand back in the old one and any idea?
Yeah, I mean, well, you know, the town has purchased 75, so you guys will have that 75. I'm not sure if everybody, you know, who signed up, it can take one. You guys might have some left over, but if they are damaged, I mean, we can, you know, that's something that we can discuss either between the municipality or um it's
We have pickle barrels, right? So
sure,
it's
yeah.
not
And
the same.
honestly, to
It's
be
not.
fair,
Yeah.
yeah, like anybody can you can use a bucket that you got from Home Depot. You can some people don't use buckets at all. Some people use Tupperware. I mean, gosh, like we're not
It doesn't
definitely don't
matter. Yeah,
get
you just
more
don't throw the
plastic
bucket
buckets
in.
out in the world.
Yeah, don't throw the
Yep.
bucket with the compost. And to reiterate, in case it was indirect, I heard, but the bags, right? It's a one-off. Everyone gets X amount of bags. When they're done, they're done.
Yep.
And no one is going out saying go support local, but go support local. I think that's the whole idea of this program. I would check Addison's link because then we'll know for a fact that it's what's safest, right?
Yep.
And if you don't use them, you don't use them, you know?
Yeah, no, thanks for saying
Well,
that because
yeah.
we have had other municipalities that, you know, purchase a certain amount of bags, which should be sufficient for everybody. If everybody takes only one, two at maximum per every time they come to the drop-off location, but people are like, there isn't a roll there at all. And I'm like, well, that's because your neighbor took the whole roll, you know?
I don't want to see anyone on the news like Whole Foods because they have like soy-based bags. You know, Teaneck resident arrested at Whole Foods for taking the produce bags. Please, let's not do that. Let's have a positive one. Um,
Yeah, I mean, and again, those bags don't even need to be used, you know, like you can feel free to put your scraps by themselves in whatever container, whether it be a coffee can or whatever have you, and then just go dump that into the bin, and that's that.
and that's it. And if let's say it's an old Tupperware, and if you want to wash it, you know, throw it in the washing machine or just throw some water and soap. In the fall,
Michael, can I ask Andrew? Andrew, people are saying that they can't see any of the links that Addie typed into the chat. Can you put them into the Q&A?
Maybe
Because
that was,
they're not able to see they can see the Q&A, I think, but they can't see the chat.
I can put them in the Q&A.
Yeah, I can.
Hey, Michael, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
no. Okay. As they're going through in the fall, we do have a town event. I don't know the location. Might be at the high school. Shade Tree is going to be doing a tree planting. Two things, you know, if that's the location, if it works, it works. If not, if it's around the time, maybe some of it can be, you know, about 2 gallons can be donated as before the topsoil to help enrich the tree so that some of the residents can see, look at my efforts, you know. I'm not even sure of the tree this year. I can let you know later on. That's an idea. And if we were to do something at a centralized pickup, I think like one day, you know, we try to do it one day, as we can't guard everything, you know, or again, if we were to do it at DPW, like, oh, we're gonna trickle in. If I'm not in the office, you know, it's some people like, I don't know who Henry Smith is. I don't understand this whole thing, even with instructions. So
Right, so we'll coordinate the compost give back. And like you said, Michael, if you send me the dates of the tree plantings and what we're doing, I can coordinate with Addie and maybe that week Addie, do you have a specific day yet for Teaneck that you're gonna do your pickup?
Either Monday or Friday at the
Days
moment.
or Fridays?
It
Okay,
could be Tuesday or Wednesday though, but Monday or Friday for sure, for sure. We're not gonna let you go the weekend without
okay, okay. And so Michael, if you give me dates, I can coordinate with Addie.
sure. And then also like when you see Peter, you can ask him as well, because he sits on the meetings. And the last one that I think Addie just kind of like danced around, right? It's a crude term. I think we use in the recycling world. It's when in doubt, throw it out, right? If you're not sure, throw it out. Like sometimes trying to do well can cause more harm, right? So when in doubt, throw it out. I think like recycling, composting, we'll get to where it's got to get. Start with the basics, right? If you guys are a little novice, go to the novice. And then from there, just step by step, right? So there's a lot of poly mixed in everything, right? There's plastic.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that so much. It really, I mean, look, we're all trying to do the best that we can for the environment, but it's true. Yeah, I mean, just start with your food scraps for sure. And then if you're unsure, again, we're really receptive to questions and want to help out when and where we can, but do the best that you can, and certainly when in doubt, throw it out because it could be, the consequence could be even worse. I don't want to have livestock over here. Just
Right, or send us an email if you have any
yeah.
question about something that you're not sure if it's recyclable or compostable or recyclable. We can answer that for you as well. We have another question. How high is the opening of the drop-off tote? If my 5-gallon bucket is filled, will I be able to dump it in from the top, or is it too high for that? See, I'm not the only person I think that's vertically challenged because I'm I'm not quite 5 feet high, so I understand this question.
It is, yeah, it's a good question. And we're definitely I love this type of feedback. I mean, it's been asked before, but the shed is, I mean, it's your standard rolling garbage container, one that you would take out to the curb for whatever waste management service you have. Um the tote the Do we have sheds? I can't remember.
Do
Or
we,
is it
we're not immediately, but we may be getting a shed. That's what Jackie.
Okay. So
Yeah.
the tote, I mean, look, I'm 5'2" myself. So yeah, the tote is, I mean, it's y'all know what I mean, right? Like it's the rolling one. So it will involve opening the lid with one hand, and then you can flip it back and then use two hands to tip the bucket. But I would just recommend knowing, like what your capacity is if you have to take more frequent trips or take two containers that are kind of half full or something like that. I would recommend it. Um yeah, that's my recommendation. Michael, do you have any recommendations? I know you know what these totes look like.
There's 64, right? 64 gallons.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a problem. It's just a matter, can you lift the container up to your chin? Right? I've
Right.
seen them on the road. They're very simple. They're not as big as the ones when you drive through Bergenfield.
Mm-hmm.
Those are 96. This is 62,
Or
64. So again, it's your average size for the sturdy ones with the wheels, the toter. So if you see the one in Bergenfield, you're like, oh, that's gonna be tough. This one's it got at least 4 or 5 inches underneath, so you should be fine.
Okay. And actually, while we're talking about the tote, I would like to say it will have a lock on it with the four digit code in which we've all sent you. And I know Hildy said she'll follow up with another email with this information again. These locks are ones we've used with different municipalities. And to be incredibly transparent, I wish there was a better solution. They are a four-digit lock. You do need to line up the numbers very precisely and then give it a proper tug in order to open it because look, and make sure it's not upside down when you're doing it because then obviously the numbers are going to be backwards. It does take a slight learning curve. But we will have three totes there with three of the locks. So just try your best and just remember to try to line those numbers up as precisely as possible. And
Yeah.
then go
On
ahead.
the day of, on the 27th, if you're coming at 11 o'clock to pick up your bucket for the launch, we'll show you.
Yeah.
Straight that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then of course, look, if the buckets, and Michael touched on this briefly, if the containers are in disarray or if something is broken, or just reach out to us, let us know. We're probably within 24 hours we'll be there to fix it.
And please do not just dump it on the ground. Right? If you come and everything's well, do not dump it on the ground or behind.
Right,
Uh,
or to the side of the tote. It either goes in the tote or take it back.
and it would be a
Yeah.
shame too if because there's litter cans around. It'd be a shame if it made it in there. Um,
Yeah, or
yeah,
animals came to.
yeah. And then we'll also let you know before we get the shed, is there any issues? Because we do have by the CSX train, there's a little stream of water, so we will have some critters in the area. Because the totes are just your ones that you would get Home Depot. The green ones, black lids. right?
They've got our logo on it. Thank you.
Okay, but they're not the bear-proof ones, right? So,
No.
then we should be fine. And then if there's any kind of issue, we'll figure it out as we go along. And I don't go crazy with the spin, but some people like to figure out locks from my experience. Turn a number or two, more than one. I've seen people in places they shouldn't be just from sitting, they have time. Don't go crazy. If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, just maybe make it 6, 2, 4, 4. It just
Yeah.
it's funny that somebody sat there, but they'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Thanks.
Okay, and we also ask everyone not to share this with your neighbors that are not in the program yet, because again, we only have so many totes and we want to make sure, as Michael is saying, that they're not overflowing, that people don't come that are actually in the program and there's no room, for their waste that week. So, bear with us for the 6 months. This is our learning curve and you're learning along with us. Ask as many questions as you need to. That's why we're here. So don't be shy about that. You can either email Neighborhood Compost or you can email the Environmental Commission through our website.
More importantly, just want to add to that. I was just also, this is how we learn, right? 75 residents from Teaneck will produce 75 gallons of garbage in one day, or compost in one day. And if you're sharing with your neighbors, it's going to skew the numbers, right? So if and when this ever gets extrapolated, I'm like, all right, let's get 15 containers, and then everyone has them that should have them. And then we're sitting there, and Addie's driving to 3 locations, and you just have some dead totes over there. So yeah, for the sake being of a pilot, right? The pilot isn't always going to be full on, but there's a lot of data and research. It's, do we like it? Do they like us? And what should we do from here on in? So please.
Right, okay. So I think we're getting close to 8:30. I see a hand up, but I don't see a person that it's next to unless I'm missing something here.
I've been trying to put these links and emails and such, all the stuff I've been
Okay, all right. You know
and
what,
people,
Patty, if you send me, maybe we'll draft an email after this with the links. Send me the links and I'll draft the email and we can get that out.
will do.
Okay. But anyway, I want to, first of all, and Andrew, thank you. Thank you for being here and hosting the, the Zoom for us. We appreciate that. We know that it's 8:30 at night. And Michael, as always, in Teaneck, we are so lucky. We have such a great DPW, and Michael's been a big help in helping us get this pilot off the ground. And let's go compost. So I hope to see everybody on April 27th. And if you can't make it again, we will have a plan for you, which we'll put into the email. Okay?
Hildy, real quick, just touch up.
Yeah.
Don't come too late, because pigging back
Right.
off the event, which is a 2-hour window, so an hour, 40-minute window, will be the townwide cleanup. Join, fantastic. But however,
Right.
people at 1:30 will not be making the 11 o'clock window.
Right, right. So at 11 o'clock, to Michael's point, the same day, the same morning, at 12 o'clock, we have our township cleanup, which will meet, those folks will meet across the street in front of the main entrance of the Rada Center. And we will have shuttles to take people to the cleanups locations to pick up litter. So we hope you'll join us for that as well. But we're going to have about a 45-minute window at 11 o'clock for you to get those buckets. So try to get there on time, because then the same people that are organizing the compost launch will be running across the street to organize the cleanup for the town. So we hope that you'll get there on time, and we really look forward to seeing everybody. And thank you for trying this with us. I think this is a great opportunity for Teaneck. I'm really excited about it. The Environmental Commission is really excited to be doing this and offering this to everyone. And don't be shy with your questions.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Have a great night.
Good night.
Good
Nice seeing you
night.
again,
Okay.
Andrew.
Thanks,
Good to see you too.